All right, let us start soon. I need my watch. I gotta go find that.
Now he's doing that singing thing.
It's awful.
God awful. He loses everything.
Not his porn.
I can't live with it anymore.
Well, it's not like we can just move out. We're
Yeah, but
ghosts.
something needs to change.
Like what? I mean, it's not like we can...
Watchy, watchy, where you going, woey?
Is he still talking to that one girl?
In the cardboard cutout of Halle Berry from Die Another Day.
Yeah, that one.
No, I don't think...
God damn it, this man can't catch a break, and neither can
Look, he'll
we.
be dead sooner than...
Shh, the nigger returns.
Hello? There's my watch. Foolish. Oh, shit. Gonna start soon. Here we go. Oh!
Hi.
Hello!
Hi.
Hello!
Hi. Hi.
Hello and welcome back to me adjusting my camera. Welcome back to another episode of PopCorn Poppin, PopCorn Spookin live with me, your host, the PopCorn Poppy. This is your weekly movie, TV, and streaming guide. There's too much spooky content in the world, and you can't be wasting your time trying to figure out what's scurry and what ain't. So let me waste my time for you by screaming at all that is scary, whilst letting you know what's spookin' and what ain't. That needed another redraft, but we don't have time for another redraft now, do we? Tonight, we're going to be talking about some things, some stuff, and some other stuff. First, let's go over the honorable mentions of things that I had not watched or at least started and just couldn't finish. For instance, Uglies. I tried the first like, I gave it like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It's too YA for me. I don't want to judge it because I'm not the target audience. I just don't dig it. It's too silly to me. It stars Joey King in a futuristic dystopia with enforced beauty standards. A teen awaiting mandatory cosmetic surgery embarks on a journey to find her missing friend. This is directed by McG. That's what made me interested. And I haven't seen him do anything since Charlie's Angels, Charlie's Angels 2, The Babysitter, and The Babysitter 2. He also did This Means War, and I feel like I'm forgetting one or two other films. But he's a fun director. So I was like, maybe this will be a little bit on both sides, but I couldn't get through it. So if you did, let me know, because I'm curious how it was. I'd say if you have a teenager, maybe this might be good for them. I think it has a good idea of how to balance an somewhat interesting story along with sci-fi futuristic shit, along with social commentary specifically on youths and their strive for beauty. I just couldn't watch it. Other things that came out were My Old Ass with the beautiful ass herself, Aubrey Plaza, about a mushroom trip that brings free-spirited Elliot face-to-face with her 39-year-old self. But when Elliot's old ass delivers warnings to her younger self, Elliot realizes she has to rethink everything about her family, life, and love. This is another one that I didn't watch because it was YA, plus I didn't want to go to the theaters to go check this out. However, I'm going to guess that it is fairly good. I'll wait for streaming to give it a shot. I just don't think I'll enjoy it as much without more Aubrey Plaza. But from what I've watched from the trailer, there's not that much of her. The 4:30 movie, Kevin Smith's non-View Askewniverse film about a group of teens in the 1980s that spend the day theater hopping. Kevin Smith, you know, the guy who did Clerks, Clerks 2, Mallrats, Clerks 3. Yes, I didn't see Clerks 3, and I have to watch Clerks 3 before I watch any other movie. James Bob Strikes Back, Dogma. He's one of my favorite directors. He made me want to be a writer after watching Clerks and Chasing Amy. Excellent writer. It's just his movies lately, like Yoga Hosers, and I feel like he had one more after that. Jane Silent Bob Reboot was like, he's got his ups and downs. Still a very prolific film director that I believe can make another good movie again. He just chooses to have fun first. I think this sounds super fun. I wanted to make a movie about a movie theater as well, except this is definitely more of a coming of age story, which could still be a lot of fun. And he brings back a bunch of people that we're familiar with, probably Brian Harlan, Jason Mewes, Randall, I can't remember his name, but Rosario Dawson's in this too. So I haven't looked up scores or anything, but I'm assuming it's popping specifically for Kevin Smithians, and maybe not so much for the regular crowd, but maybe so. Who knows? I don't right now, but I will be checking it out once I watch Clerks 3 and this comes out on streaming. The Old Man returned to Hulu on Fridays, and Hereafter, which stars Connie Britton as Claire, who is overjoyed with her daughter, Robin, when she's miraculously revived after a fatal accident. But her relief turns to dread as Claire notices changes in her daughter, suspecting something dark has followed her back from the brink of death. I didn't watch this. I didn't even watch the trailer. I just like Connie Britton, and this is a new Breton. I don't know, the girl from Friday Night Lights, Mrs. Coach. I just didn't watch this because I'm not going to go to the theater for it, and I'm suggesting it because it is a new horror movie. And I think all horror deserves to be watched every August and October. In my regular rotation of shows that I always recommend to you weekly is Slow Horses with Gary Oldman, which is on Apple TV Plus Wednesdays. If you want a more like, what the fuck is Slow Horses? Check out my last video where I go a little more in depth of the plot without giving you spoilers, but it is funny and it is fucking good to watch. I suggested it to my grandpappy, and guess what? He liked it. Not as much as I thought as he would, but because he is a slow horse. Fight Night, I still haven't caught up on, but Kevin Hart's new show with Samuel L. Jackson, Don Cheadle, Taraji P. Henson, and Terrence Howard is a little better than I had thought. Its new episodes drop on Peacock Thursdays. This is a mini-series. Only Murders in the Building. What pow? Or Pop Pop. No, I can't do Pop Pop because there's, that's what's his name. Someone help me out from Community. Fuck. I don't remember his name, but that was his thing. I can't do that. So, greatest season so far. Still great. I think it won some Emmys last night. I'm not positive. I don't watch the Emmys anymore because the same people get fucking nominated, like The Bear again. But anyways, still watch Only Murders in the Building. If you haven't yet, check it out on Hulu with new episodes dropping on Tuesdays. Horror's Greatest. I watch this in the mornings. I dig it. I think it's really cool. If you're looking for a show that talks, I'm in the first episode right now. I'm still in the first episode because I don't have much time in the morning to get ready for work. But it's a docu-series, not even a docu-series, really. They just talk about, like, the first episode's about tropes and, like, horror stereotypes, basically. Magnitude. Thank you, Mike. Magnitude says, pop, pop. That's why I can't. But shout out to Magnitude and shout out to Community. There's some Community news coming up soon too, Michael. Anyways, Horror's Greatest. If you love horror movies and you want to tally up some good ones to use in the future or to watch in the future that you may not have heard of, I already have 3 from the first episode because they show little clips and they do interviews with people that work on horror films. And it's really, really cool. I dig it a lot. You can check us out on Shudder Tuesdays. Get AMC Plus. I'm telling you guys, get it. Shudder is a great video streaming guide for horror. They have a lot of great shit on there. English Teacher is still hilarious. Very, very sharp writing and excellent acting. Like on top of each other dialogue to where there's joke. And really excellent show to be making in today's age. And it makes you aware, like we know it's 2024. We know that you shouldn't be laughing at this, but we're still going to make it funny either way. Industry. Crazy episode this week. Kind of, but you know, Harper, the main girl that's in the middle, she's a bad person. She's a villain. And I'm glad that they're showcasing that a little more again. Yasmin, who's on the right, she's more of the star of the season this season. I won't bore you. Check out Industry. You don't know what they're talking about when it comes to stocks, but you will find the character development intriguing. Also, Kit Harington, a.k.a. Jon Snow, is in this season. He's a douchebag, and he's a very good douchebag. Almost too good. So, the Limelight show was going to be Tulsa King, but 10 minutes before PopCorn Poppin aired, I remembered that I forgot to watch the new episode of Tulsa King. Mostly because I was like, I don't have Paramount Plus, so I'll have to watch it by other means. And I just never got around to it. So the new season is out right now. I will tell you whether or not I like this season as much as last one. But I do recommend you watching the first season of Tulsa King on Paramount Plus with Sylvester Stallone. It's there's not much action in it, and he's a mafioso guy, but it's much more of a comedy than it is anything else. Now, in theaters, there are 2 new movies. The first one that we'll talk about is Killer's Game, starring Dave Bautista as a veteran assassin who is diagnosed with a life-threatening illness and authorizes a kill on himself. After ordering the kill, an army of former colleagues pounce, and a new piece of information comes to light. Insanity ensues. This co-stars Sofia Boutella, which was one of 2 reasons I went to go see this movie. And the second reason is Pom Klementieff, along with Ben Kingsley, Terry Crews, and other people. Anyways, this was directed by J.J. Perry, who did Day Shift. Day Shift is a vampire comedy with actually decent action in it. J.J. Perry is a stunt person, so he knows how to do really good fight choreography. He does it well in Day Shift. And Day Shift overall has that weird silliness of something that you've never seen before, but you still buy into very well. And Killer's Game has a mixture of romance, silliness, and a third thing. Just like 2 movies that we've watched in the past couple weeks, this film is like watching 3 different movies. The beginning has good character development of a decent romance between Dave Bautista and Sofia Boutella. I love her, and I like Dave a lot. I know Dave can crush me like this. Maybe not these days since he's lost a lot of weight. But when you watch this, you are like, man, this guy's fucking huge. So you can see why he did it. And he's 55. His doctor's probably like, yo, dude, you can lose the weight. You will lose the weight or you'll die because he's huge in this. And having said that, you do notice how old he is in this movie because the way he moves is slow. You can tell every time there's a stunt double in his place. And that's not necessarily by speed. You can tell that with speed with a lot of action movies. If you don't believe me, watch most of your action favorites that star a guy that doesn't really do martial arts, but is doing martial arts in the film. Not John Wick. Keanu Reeves knows his shit. He does use stunt doubles every once in a while, but not as much as other ones. Think like Brad Pitt or something. Dave Bautista, you can see the double not only because the double's moving faster, like usual movies where you see the stunt double in the frame, but his hair is really, really short, like to the scalp. And every time there's a stunt double, you can see the hair his hair was too long. Same haircut, not enough on length. Anyways, so that was annoying. I could tell that a lot. I was surprised how much I liked the romance, but it was cut into with the silly, like, bullet train comedy that's really heavy-handed, that seems to be written by non-comedy writers, but what if this would be funny? What if this would be funny? Not is it funny if. So there's a lot of weird, what's that milkshake? There's that movie with, what is it called? Milkshake. Help me out here. It's with, Jesus, I can't remember anyone's name. Karen Gillan. It was a Netflix movie. Karen Gillan is from Gunpowder Milkshake. If you've ever seen Gunpowder Milkshake on Netflix, and you loved it, this movie is for you because this movie has a lot of gunpowder, like really poppy violence that's just, it falls short. There's a lot of blood in this, and don't get me wrong, the choreography in this of killing and of ass kickery is superb, especially for the type of film that this is. You've seen this movie 1,000 times. It is a cross between Bullet Train, some romance, and John Wick, 1,000%. But it almost mimics it a little too much. It has a lot of fun. It's just the funness was not 100% there. And it cuts into each other so much that it's, again, like watching 3 different movies. Pom Klementieff, fucking awesome. Sophia, fucking awesome. Not enough Pom, though. Her last scene in this, they robbed her of a good final scene. And I was very pissed off with this movie for doing that. It kind of reminded me of what Mission Impossible did with her, although she should be in the next one. She better be in the next one. This film, they could have used her a little more. It seemed to be like Dave Bautista wanted to give his gal some work. And because, they're friends from Guardians. They're Guardians themselves. It's just she could have been used more. She's supposed to be like the main villain, and they didn't main villainize her. Regardless, popping or not, it's barely popping. I'm gonna give it a small popcorn with butter, specifically because there were scenes where I was like, "Oh shit!" So if you get a reaction out of me, you're gonna get butter. So small popcorn with butter. I don't really recommend you to go see it. Sophia Boutella is amazing, and Palm is fucking awesome. It's just it gave you 75% of everything that you wanted, and that would be a medium. It's just I could say I could rewatch mediums. I could rewatch this too, but I'm still gonna get it this small with butter. It's not bad, just not great either. Next up, our actual spotlight film. This is where we bring the timer in play. We're going to do 15 minutes. So, Speak No Evil stars James McAvoy, Scoot McNairy, and Mackenzie Davis. And it's not necessarily a scary neighbor film, but bear with me when I tell you what it's about. You'll be like, yeah, it's basically a scary neighbor. Basically, a family is invited to spend a weekend in an idyllic country house, unaware that their dream vacation will soon become a psychological nightmare. This is directed by James Watkins. Poppin' or not? I'm going to say poppin' right now. It's super poppin'. Super poppin'. If you don't know, this is actually a remake off of a Danish film that is much darker. And the story is really about how polite is too polite could polite society be? Should you have boundaries and should you stick to them? Should something feel wrong, especially from someone you don't know, should you act upon it? Should you leave? Or should you even go there in the first place? The answer is no, you shouldn't do any of that. Yes, you should act and not be in an uncomfortable position, but don't do nothing and don't be passive. There's a difference between being polite and being too passive. And that's what both of these films interpret very well. This American remake does it an entirely different way. Not an entirely different way. Basically, both films, the first half is the exact same. The second half is very different. The first half, they're passive from beginning to end. And it ends very, very dark. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I will look up where the original one is. The original one is on AMC Plus. Another reason for you to get it. I recommend watching that before watching this. And remember, though, that this movie is more fun. And having said that, let's talk about the funness of it. So we got James McAvoy, who's playing a really fucking asshole, bad bastard of a man. Yet everything he does is kind of likable and charismatic. And it's fun. And it's funny. And me and Roxy were laughing a lot. But, like, everyone else in the theater was like, oh, that's so funny. Like, the funniest scene in this film is they all jump in a lake from off a cliff. And his son, James McAvoy, and this girl's son is like, oh, and the neighbors are like, oh my God, can he swim? And he's James McAvoy's like, he's fine, don't worry about it. Come on, jump. And you just see him. It was hilarious. The juxtaposition of, no, that kid can't swim. And don't worry about it is funny. But no one in the theater like, oh, that's bad parenting. You snobby snobs. Of course it's bad parenting. That's why you laugh. You can laugh. You're allowed to laugh. Anyways, there is humor in this, but it is definitely behind a veil of like, this is fucked up. And they nail it. They nail it home. They do a very, very good job. James McAvoy, one of the best actors ever. And I know I've said that before with my realization, specifically one after Split, also after a movie called Filth, which I definitely recommend, especially if you like Fight Club. It's based off of a novel that is written by the same author. But Filth you can watch on Prime. I highly recommend it. I'll tell you what it's about real quick. A drug-addled manipulative misanthrope begins to experience increasingly severe hallucinations as he tries to solve the murder of a Japanese student. It's fucked up. It's funny, but it is fucked up. I highly recommend watching that if you want to see some good James McAvoy acting. Watch anything with James McAvoy is great acting. Atonement, great film. He's good in it. And Split. one of the best M. Night Shyamalan films, but probably mostly because it's fucking James McAvoy, which, by the way, took over for Joaquin Phoenix for that film. I didn't know that. He just revealed that 2 weeks before filming began, Joaquin dropped out and they got James McAvoy in. So he had 2 weeks to prepare. So that's super cool. Seeing all that acting is just fucking great. Physically, he's excellent. You can see every emotion on his face, but every time he picks something up or like shakes someone's hand or grabs someone's shoulder, you feel like uncomfortable because of how intrusive he is. And I'm guessing he worked out for the film because he's so ripped, it's scary that if this guy fucking snaps, you don't want to fuck with him either. So they did a really good job with that. But again, the second half of this film, it's a lot more fun than the first movie. And I can't recommend it enough. In fact, you know what I'm going to say? It was damn near perfect, except some scenes dragged out a little long, specifically towards the end, where they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? Sneaky sneak sneak. The sneaky sneak sneak went on like 10 minutes too long. And it seemed to fill in time, even though the movie's damn near 2 hours. And 2 hours should be the cutoff for most films. But this is easily an hour and a half film that they didn't need to try to extend it to. So, because of those things, and because the son in this movie that plays James McAvoy and this broad's son, he's a great actor. Not only is he a great actor, someone who I'd never seen before. I'd pull up his IMDb, but he was only in one other thing, and it was from a TV show I never heard of. He will be a star, I think. But the final scene of this movie, the kid crushed it. So, poppin' or not, it's poppin'. How poppin' is it? It's a large popcorn with butter with a perfect score. Ding, 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 ding. I'm saying it right now. It's not one of the best. All right, so I always have to take away like the best compliments from a film. I'm not saying it's like one of my favorite films. It is a perfect film, though. I truly believe it's a perfect film. The only reason I'm not saying it's one of my favorites is probably because I've seen this type of film over and over. You've seen this movie a bunch, and I'm going to give you some examples as well. But you haven't seen it done as many times perfectly as this one. I'm not saying that there aren't other perfect, scary new friend films, but this one is a perfect one. So go to theaters to watch it. Great date movie. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's a lot of fun. And if you like *Halt and Catch Fire*, it has Mackenzie Davis and Scott McNairy playing the other couple, and they're fucking great. I forgot that they were both on *Halt and Catch Fire*. Whenever I think of him, I think of other shit. Whenever I think of her, I think of *Halt and Catch Fire*. Anyways, check this out. So that leads us to our main events, and it's going to be Crazy Neighbors. Why Crazy Neighbors, Tony? Speak No Evil isn't about them being neighbors. Technically, they are neighbors because the opening scene is them at a resort and they are in the same hotel as this other couple. So technically, they're neighbors there. But you can't really do like new couple thriller categories. It's kind of a hard category to find films. But Scary Neighbor was pretty easy to find and to... I almost said correlate. There's a different word I'm trying to use. To a list of things, suggestions to you. So some will be honorable mentions, but for the most part, this is basically my top 10 to 12 scary neighbor films that you can watch. Starting with Fright Night. I talked about this last week. I know. So don't worry. I'm going to keep going. Was it last week? I don't know. I've talked about it a bunch, but Fright Night's dope. It's a new neighbor moves in next to Charlie, who discovers that he is an ancient vampire who preys on the community. You can rent this right now. Colin Farrell's dope. Anton Yelchin, R.I.P., and David Tennant, one of the best actors ever. I prefer this over the remake. No One Gets Out Alive. So this is an honorable mention only because I don't remember this movie, but I remember being very pleasantly surprised and enjoying it more as it went. The first half, I remember being a slow burn, but you slowly get into the story more and more. So you can check this out on Netflix. After being forced to take a room in a boarding house, an immigrant in search of the American dream finds herself in a nightmare she can't escape. It is dope. It's I would say this might be the scariest film in the selection that you hear before you. By the way, Speak No Evil isn't exactly scary. It's just more of a thriller, but this one's scary. Lakeview Terrace, again, not a horror film, but I would say suspense, and an honorable mention only because I know I watched this before. I don't remember it. I remember liking it, and it has Samuel L. Jackson. Is it Kerry Washington? Kerry Washington? Is it Kerry Washington? Is it Kerry Washington? I know Patrick Wilson. Kerry Washington. All three of them are in this film about a troubled and racist African-American LAPD officer who will stop at nothing to force out a friendly interracial couple that would make me if they were to have a baby, who just moved in next door to him. You can rent this right now. I remember it being good. That should be good enough for you. Another honorable mention of a film that I know is amazing. I do not remember it. I remember some of the ending, though. Apt Pupil, which has Sir Ian McKellen, moved next door to neighborhood boy Todd Bowden, played by Brad Renfro, who discovers that an old man living on his block is a Nazi war criminal. You can watch this on Prime right now. Again, not horror, barely suspense, mostly just a really good drama. It's fucked up, but it's good. Arlington Road. This movie I would call a horror movie specifically because of the ending. The ending is fucking nuts. But a man played by Jeff Bridges begins to suspect his neighbors are not what they appear to be, and their secrets could be deadly. You can rent this right now. The neighbors that are scurry in this is Tim Robbins and a terrifying Joan Cusack, who really deserves to get more work and deserves to be more of a household name for her own shit. She definitely has a fan base, but I think that she needs to be like known amongst younger people, not just as the mom, but from the scary neighbor from Arlington Road. This is a dope movie you can rent right now. But again, not very Halloween-y. Most of these aren't Halloween-y, but you know. Neighbors, another comedy and another one that I would call an honorable mention because it's not scary. And I don't remember it very well. In fact, something tells me it's probably not very PC for these days, because I remember it being kind of a horny film, but it has John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, and it is about a young couple that, suffering from arrested development, are forced to live next to a quiet man's peaceful suburban lifestyle is threatened by the obnoxious new couple who moves in next door. I remember it being really funny. You can watch this you can rent this right now. Not to be confused with Neighbors with Seth Rogen, like I just confused it. Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, don't forget about Rose Byrne, and Zac Efron, about a young couple suffering from arrested development are forced to live next to a fraternity house after the birth of their newborn baby. You can check this out on Hulu. This is another honorable mention because obviously this isn't scary. But then again, the older that I get, the more scary the idea of a fraternity house moving next door truly becomes. Especially when you don't drink anymore. Living next to partiers, period, is a fucking nightmare, and I don't want to live it. I refuse! I shan't! Let's go a little more Halloween-y, but still stay in the realm of comedy. We have The Burbs, about an overstressed suburbanite and his neighbors who are convinced that the new family on the block is part of a murderous satanic cult. Are they? You'll have to rent it to find out. This is young Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, standing Bruce Dern. You haven't seen that in a while. And a young Corey Feldman. This is a good one. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm probably going to have to watch that again this year. Again, not Halloween-y, but it's definitely more on the spooky, fun side. Like, it's really good. You should check it out if you haven't before. Another honorable mention of not scary at all, but scary hot, The Girl Next Door. A teenager's dream comes true when a former porn star moves in next door and they fall in love with Elisha Cuthbert from Happy Endings, and what else is she from? The Quiet. And there's one more I'm forgetting. Oh, she's Jack Bauer's daughter in 24 as well. Also, if you see in the middle there, I would have picked a different picture, but I wanted to point out the guy in the middle there. It's Paul Dano, young Paul Danny boy, and Emile Hirsch, and the guy from Just Friends. Scary only in the sense of she's scary. What a scary hot situation to be in. So yeah, this is the real cover that most people remember. Next up, 1BR. Not many people have seen this. Not many people know about this, but it is on every streaming site that you could possibly think of. almost everyone. After moving to Los Angeles, a young woman discovers her seemingly friendly apartment complex is actually home to a danger. I'm not going to read the rest of that sentence. I'm glad that I stopped. Check this movie out. It is really good to walk into this movie without knowing anything. You probably have an idea of what it's about after reading what I said and from looking at the poster maybe, but it's a little wilder than you think, and it's got an excellent ending. Very similar to The Invitation, not the vampire movie, the other one with the guy from Upgrade. Both very, very good, but 1BR, check it out. It is, I'd say it's scary. It's scary in a sense. It's scary. If you're in that situation, it's fucking scary. You can check this out on Prime, on Peacock, on Tubi, on Pluto, on Plex, and on Roku. So it's free, but if you have ad-free Prime or Peacock, check it out on there. Sincerely, really good film that you never heard of. Rosemary's Baby. Now we're getting into the good stuff, the ones that we actually know about. And I'm running out of time, so I'll have to add 5 minutes. We'll add 3. Okay, so Rosemary's Baby, one of the best films ever made. I am actually about to rewatch it tonight after this, actually. I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. Roman Polanski, shit aside, fucking phenomenal filmmaker, and this was no exception. A young couple trying for a baby, moves into an aging, ornate apartment building on Central Park West. Why they needed to say that, they didn't. Where they find themselves surrounded by peculiar neighbors. You can check us out on Prime, Paramount Plus, and MGM Plus. Stir of Echoes, very underrated. Check this out. It's got Kevin Bacon, directed by David Kemp. After being hypnotized by a sister-in-law, a man begins seeing haunting visions of a girl's ghost, and a mystery begins to unfold around him. Super dope movie. Excellent filmmaking. This is a perfect movie that I think the cinematography, editing, acting, and camera movement is exactly how I want to make a film. So if you want to see like kind of the style that I really, really dig, check out Stir of Echoes. By the way, if that girl looks familiar, she's from a little show called House and Once Upon a Time, which I didn't watch. Bam bam be dum bam bam be dum bam 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 be dum bam bam be dum bam. Shia LaBeouf is on the wall. David Morse is across the street. When a teenager is placed under house arrest, he succumbs to despair and starts spying on his neighbors, hoping to spice up his life. Excellent film. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. It's super fun. It's not Halloween-y, but it's a very good film. Remember when Shia LaBeouf was like on top of the world? Not like artistically speaking, but for like popcorn teenager movies like this. This was dope. Now, obviously, it's a remake. Off of what? The best Crazy Neighbors movie ever. Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock. A wheelchair-bound photographer spies on his neighbors from his Greenwich Village courtyard apartment window. Another one where they tell you exactly where it is. I think it's a little unnecessary. Just say he's fucking spies on his neighbors. Anyways, both films are very good. This is better for obvious reasons, Hitchcock. This is a servable one. This is more like a play, and that's why I like it more. You can check out Disturbia on Paramount Plus and Pluto, and you can check out Rear Window on Sling. 20 seconds. Good shit. All right, so now I should get like 5 of these. That way you don't have to watch me set it up. Let's get into some news, shall we? And if you have any other crazy neighbor suggestions that I haven't mentioned, maybe you should let me know, my guy. You ever think of that? Huh? Well, Michael B. Jordan is directing again. After Creed 3, he is tackling on a remake of the Thomas Crown Affair. You may remember the one with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo, or Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway. I can't remember who the actress was in that. But Drew Pearce wrote the script for the new one, and I had a good couple ideas for the female lead because Michael B. Jordan will be starring in this as well. Zoe Kravitz, I think that's a fair one to. I think she could pull it off. She's sexy, and she's a good actress. And she's got a darkness to her too, and I'm not just talking about her skin complexion. I mean, like, she's got like a darkness to her, and I think that you kind of want that with a romance like Thomas Crown Affair. However, I think another choice that would be even more perfect, Zendaya. Zendaya would be perfect at a role like that. Anyways, you can check out the Pierce Brosnan one, which is very, very. I love it. I love it. I gotta say, love it. It's not one of the best movies ever, but it's fucking dope. You can check it out on Tubi, Pluto, Roku, MGM Plus. If you want to watch the old one with Steve McQueen, and I was right, Faye Dunaway, you can check that out on Tubi and Pluto. So basically, the exact same places. You can watch both Tom Crown's affairs. Happy Gilmore 2 is on its way, and it's bringing a familiar director to the scene. If the guy on the right looks familiar, that is Kyle Newacek. You may remember him from Workaholics. He played the guy with a wonky eye. I can't remember his name in Workaholics, but you know who I'm talking about. He co-wrote most of those episodes, and he directed most of those episodes. He also is a main director for What We Do in the Shadows TV series. He directed an episode of Ghosted, but he also directed an episode of Bookie. He also directed Game Over Man. He also directed Murder Mystery 1. They should have brought him back for 2 because 2 sucked, but first one was dope. Anyways, Adam Sandler must have liked him a lot because he's doing Happy Gilmore 2 with Bad Bunny and Travis Kelce. Spider-Man 4. Remember little non-Toby, little non-Andrew Garfield, little Tom Holland. I couldn't remember his name. Well, apparently they're working on bringing the crew back, but they don't have a director yet. The one they're eyeing is Shang-Chi director himself, Destin Daniel Cretton. I think that would be dope. He was supposed to do the last Avengers movie, or the first, the one of the new ones, and they took him off of there. Russos are taking over. So they're like, well, let's give him something that's going to make a lot of money, and this one would. So hopefully they do that because he's fun, but Shang-Chi wasn't that funny. John Watts is busy. He just made Wolves. I guess he's not busy. They could bring him back again. But John Watts was definitely the funny that was brought to Spider-Man's table. I mean, I'm sure he's a reason for a lot of the greatness of those films. Yet, I feel like he's more of a comedy director, and Destin is not exactly a comedy director. There are a lot of comedic things that happen in Shang-Chi, but I wasn't like, ha ha ha, like I was with the Spider-Man movies. He also directed Short Term 12 and Just Mercy and Glass Castle. This guy's not a comedy director, so I don't know about that. I think the action would be fucking great, but I'd rather get more of a comedy director to do this. Sam Raimi, comedy director, horror director too, which is funny. And John Watts, comedy director. This guy, you have a lot to prove. The Community movie takes a step forward. Small, but a step. Some news is getting a tax credit for shooting in California. Originally, I know that they said that they were going to shoot in Atlanta, but apparently that might change. That's all the news I know about that. Dune Messiah, the next Dune movie, will be Denis Villeneuve's last Dune film, should he make it. It's important that people understand that for me, it was really a diptych. I don't know what the fuck that means. It was really a pair of movies that will be the adaptation of the first book. That's done and that's finished. If I do a third one, which is in the writing process, it's not like a trilogy. It's strange to say that, but if I go back there, it's to do something that feels different and has its own identity. Dune Messiah is taking place 12 years after the first Dune book, and the film adaptation would need to age up its cast. No shit. But he said, that's my problem. I know how to do that. He wants to do other stuff, but wants to see the universe continue with other filmmakers. Because there's like 5 or 6 books. But little Timmy Boy and Zendaya, they're not going to stay for more than 3. I don't think most of that cast is going to stay more than 3. But I do know that later books take place or surrounds the characters of what's their names of the kids and generations lower. Anyways, there's a new Janis Joplin biopic happening soon, and Shailene Woodley is taking she's gonna do it. She's gonna be Janis Joplin. Pepsi versus Coke is a movie that is happening that Judd Apatow is set to direct, with producing going to Spielberg himself. Cola Wars is set to focus on the battle for soda supremacy that kicked off in the mid-1980s as Pepsi aimed to challenge Coke's longtime dominance in the soft drink space. Oh, my children! You remember that show? I didn't watch it. I was more of a General Hospital kid myself. But they're eyeing a return because they're coming out with a holiday movie from Lifetime. I don't care about this, but maybe some of you will. Tim Meadows is getting his own show called DMV. It's a single camera comedy, so dope. But it's a workplace comedy that takes place in the DMV. Our quirky and lovable characters are making minimum wage doing a thankless job. God, good thing they have each other. Like, it doesn't sound very good. But who knows? Maybe it's the next Barry. This isn't a picture from it, by the way. That's just a badass picture of Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows should make some sort of PI television show. He can do it. I will be watching this. I just don't think I'm going to like it. Netflix is looking to stream live episodes of Hot Ones, which is a cool thing for Sean, even though Sean doesn't really need to do anything to continue Hot Ones. But this would be a cool opportunity for more people to watch his shit. But I mean, I feel like more people have YouTube than Netflix. So, and plus live, I like that they're doing live and they're trying to take it in different directions, like the hot dog eating contest thing, which I didn't watch, but I think it's cool that we're trying different things. If you have Spectrum TV, you get Max for free. Disney Plus has a new deal. I swear I'm not getting paid for this. So Disney, cough up the cash. If you want Disney Plus, but it's too expensive and you don't want to be on your friend's or ex's streaming account anymore, get it right now. You have until September 27th to get Disney Plus ad-supported, but $2 a month for the first 3 months. It's a pretty good deal. $6 for 3 months of Disney Plus. Oh, boy. If I didn't have Verizon, I'd do it. Now, if you have Verizon, Hulu, Disney, and ESPN, the Disney bundle is raising in price. I don't know what that means for Verizon users yet. They haven't told us. So if you find out, let me know. All right, here's what's coming out next week. I have seen Challengers, and I did tell you guys all about it. Check out my video on Jermaine Higgins Presents YouTube page. It's the one called Challengers. This is a Poppin film, and it is on Prime Thursday, in case you didn't have a chance to see it in theaters. New movie-wise, the spotlight film will be Never Let Go, starring Halle Berry. That raises a family that has been haunted by an evil spirit for years. Their safety and their surroundings come into question when one of their children questions if the evil is real. This is directed by Alexandra Aja, who did High Tension, Hills Have Eyes, Piranha 3D, Mirrors, Horns, Crawl, and Oxygen. High Tension is one of the best horror movies ever. Great, very, very great horror film. So for that, I'm excited for this movie, but it looks a little too Quiet Place. And by that, I mean there's a shtick. Like Quiet Places don't make a sound. Bird Boxes don't make a noise. This is Never Let Go. So hopefully it's not just a shtick and it's a good film. We at least get Halle Berry. So I think that'll be dope. The GOAT! You're right. Halle Berry is the GOAT. I do think it'll be poppin'. I think it'll be a good date movie. I just don't know if it'll be, I think it'll be like, yeah, it was all right. I think it'll be like good for streaming, but I'm going to go to theaters and watch it this week. The Substance, I'm pretty excited for. Then I think it'll be good only because it's going to be weird as fuck. It stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid. And it's about a fading celebrity who decides to use a black market drug, a cell-replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. This is directed by Coralie Farget. Forget about it. She directed Revenge, which is about never take your mistress on an annual guy's getaway, especially one devoted to hunting, a violent lesson for 3 wealthy married men. That's on AMC Plus. I'll be checking that out. It sounds like a good suspense film. I haven't seen it, but if you check out the trailer for this, I watched like 20 seconds. I'm like, Yeah, I'll watch it. Looks weird as fuck. I'm down. Margaret Qualley, I love her choices of films. I love that she's doing these weird movies like Kinds of Kindness. And I dig Dennis Quaid, and I haven't seen Demi Moore in a while, so hopefully it's good. This next one isn't worldwide, so hold your tits. Or your belts. Hold your belts. That's not a thing. Hold your tits. Just cup them for yourself. Wolves is going to be on Apple TV Plus on the 27th. That's next week. Right? Is it 27th? Yeah. That's next week. Select theaters are playing Wolves this Thursday, starting this Thursday. If you live in Macomb County, the only theater I could find that's playing it is Imagine in Canton. I'm not driving 45 minutes to go see this movie. I think it'll be okay. No, I think it'll be really, really fun. It won't be Ocean's 11 fun, but it should be better than that. But it is directed by John Watts. I just watched some of the trailer and I heard, you gotta be kidding me. Once he sees it's Brad Pitt and it's like, that's a trope for like old celebrities like reuniting once again. And I like it, but it makes me think like, how tropey are we going to be in this film, George and Brad? You'll still be fun. And it's got a dark comedy vibe for sure, which it's about. Hired to cover up a high-profile crime, a fixer soon finds his night spiraling out of control when he's forced to work with an unexpected counterpart. Basically, two fixers are assigned to the same dead body that they have to fix. So it all takes place in one night, and it's directed by John Watts, who did Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. Will it be good? I think it'll be poppin'. I think it'll at least be a medium popcorn with butter, if not a large. But I'm going to find out next week. I'm not going to go to Canton to watch this movie. Transformers 1. I was talking a lot of shit about this movie, but apparently it's getting a lot of good ratings. I'm not seeing it, though. I'm waiting for one of you to be like, no, Tony, it was really good. I don't care for Rotten Tomatoes, but it's got a good Rotten Tomatoes score. It's got a good IMDb score, and it's about the untold origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, better known as sworn enemies, but once were friends, bonded like brothers, who changed the fate of Cybertron forever. This is by the guy who did Toy Story 4, whatever that means. Even though I liked the end sequence of Woody running in Toy Story 4, that was one scene. I don't really care for the rest of the movie. This will be in theaters Thursday, so I always like recommending something for you to take your kids to while you go do acid in your mom's basement. But popping or not, it's got good ratings online from critics. I've seen it ahead of time. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all to me. It's got a great voice cast. I'm not going to look it up, but yeah. Theaters Thursday. A movie that none of you are going to see is called None of You Are Going to See. I mean, I'm not going to see it either, but it's a movie worth mentioning because I think it will be known for being a great foreign film. It's called How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. A man quits work to care for his dying grandmother, motivated by her fortune. He schemes to win her favor before she passes. This looks like a heartfelt film that's going to make you cry. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Select theaters Thursday. His Three Daughters will be dropping on Netflix on Friday. Stars Natasha Lyonne, Elizabeth Olsen, and Carrie Coon in this tense, touching, and funny portrait of family dynamics that follows three estranged sisters as they converge in a New York apartment to care for their ailing father and try to mend their own broken relationship with one another. God damn, was that a run-on sentence. Check out the trailer before you check this out. It looks like a family dramedy, but it looks like really good arguments, really good acting by three phenomenal actresses. I'm a big Natasha Lyonne fan, and Elizabeth Olsen's really good too. And Carrie Coon, come on, Leftovers is dope. Check us out on Netflix Friday. I think it'll be popping, but I don't think it'll be for everyone. So check out the trailer first before considering it. Dion Cole's coming out with a new special called Okay Mister on Netflix tomorrow. The Spotlight show will be Agatha all along. I am scared about this because I'm excited about it. And I don't like that I'm excited for a Marvel property at all. It's set after the events of WandaVision. Agatha Harkness recruits some unlikely allies on her quest to regain her former powers. The first 2 episodes are dropping on Wednesday. and and it will be weekly after that every Wednesday, with the last 2 episodes dropping on Halloween. Made me a little more excited. But why am I more optimistic about this than I was when I first heard about it? Well, for one, why the fuck are we getting a TV show about a side character that we don't really want a TV show about? One answer, Catherine Hahn. Fuck yeah. I get it. I get it, but that doesn't make me excited. 2, Aubrey Plaza's in it? I'm down. All right, I'm a little more excited. And then 3, I watched 20 seconds of the trailer and I'm like, sold. It looks really fucking good. I'm trying to stuff down my expectations, but I can't. It looks like it could be good. Please don't fuck me, Marvel. Don't fuck me, Marvel. Don't fuck me. If you want a feel of what I think this show is going to be like, check out Legion on Hulu, you bastards. I've told you 1,000 times. Aubrey Plaza is an excellent actress, and a damn sexy one, too. And you can check out Legion for that proof. It's a very good X-Men show. Technically X-Men. Anyways, this is coming back Wednesday. I've been rewatching WandaVision. Oh, my God. I can't believe I had to wait weekly for that. Such big cliffhangers. What a great show. WandaVision is one of the best shows ever made. There, I said it. Twilight of the Gods is a Zack Snyder produced animated super violent show that's dropping on Netflix Thursday. Inspired by Norse mythology, the Twilight of the Gods refers to events that led to the destruction of Midgard and Asgard, then the death of the most of the Aesir and Vanir gods in an ultimate battle against evil, the forces of nature, and the giants. It looks epic as fuck. And it's Zack Snyder, so you know it's going to be. Check out some of the trailer, and you'll be like, wow, this does look super goddamn violent. Hopefully it'll be popping. Winchester Productions says, I want Marvel to fuck me. Yeah, I'm sure you read it exactly like that, too. Would you fuck me? I'd let Marvel fuck me. From is a show I did not watch, but does look really good, to be honest. The residents of a small town search for a way out. The residents of a small town search for a way out when unknown forces keep them from leaving. The only reason I haven't tried this is because it's on MGM Plus Sundays. I don't have MGM Plus, but the new season is starting soon. This is season 3, and it's got fairly good reviews. It just looks too Lost, and I will never watch another Lost again. But maybe you will by going to MGM Plus. La Maison is a show I won't be watching, but maybe you'll be interested. It is a French show about an iconic fashion house that's thrown into scandal, leaving this family's legendary fashion couture house, house hanging by a thread. Yeah, it's like a fashion world show. I don't know. It looks doesn't look like it's for me, but it's got the French dude from Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. Starts on Apple TV Plus Friday. Another show I won't be watching. The next few shows I won't be watching, but I'm letting you know. Frasier. I talked a lot of shit about how it looked their first season. I watched the trailer for their second season. I'm like, God damn it. This is the Frasier I wanted. It looks like Frasier. This is coming back to Paramount Plus on Thursdays. Kathy Bates' Matlock is starting on CBS Sundays, which probably will be on Paramount Plus. And Jersey Shore Family Vacation coming back to Hulu Thursdays or Fridays. What I'm going to be watching and reviewing next week for a show will be Never Let Go, probably The Substance. Both will be in theaters Thursday. His Three Daughters, which will be dropping on Netflix Friday. Agatha All Along, which will be dropping on Disney Plus Wednesday. And Twilight of the Gods, which will be dropping on Netflix Thursday. As per usual, thank you for watching. There's going to be a spooktacular, guys. I know it's been a while. You're probably wondering, why is this called PopCorn Spookin 1 point so-and-so? It's all leading to something, all right? It's leading to something big. Not that big, but it'll be fun, and a date will be soon announced. I'm wrapping some things up with the short film. We got 1 or 2 more filming days left, less than 10 shots left to go. It's exciting times, my friends. It's exciting times. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, share. Tell your friends to tune in Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. only at Jermaine Higgins Presents site. Good night.